Hello, you're all very welcome to Straight from the Horse's Mouth, the Pony Play podcast. My name is Kyian and I am your host and guide as we explore this vast world of play, kink, and community. With me today is one of my favorite ponies, and quite honestly, one of the ponies I looked up to a lot in the beginning of my journey. We'll talk about how they first got into pony play, where they've gone with it, and what they're doing now. Please join me in welcoming to the podcast, Rye. Rye, how you doing?
I'm doing well. That was a really good intro, and thank you. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Surviving, I think, is the correct term to use in this situation.
Yeah.
Surviving. Surviving's good. Man, okay. So I have so many stories about you. And it's just the one that's the funniest that I've had recently was the when I wouldn't say broke my Horse King boots, but got pretty close to having issues with them. And I was telling somebody I was coming out to visit you because you knew how to fix them really well. And I was just like, oh yeah, no, Rye is like the king of adhesives. Like, of course he'd have something to fix this. And the guy just looks at me like with the worst look. He's just like, dude, that's so fucked. And it took me a second and I'm like, oh, right. Horse, glue, horse. Oh my God. It's just like, God damn it. But also at the same time, it just feels like it fits so well.
Yeah, I don't know how many people know about the Gooey Pony website with all the like different mixing and recipe stuff. But yeah, most people, anyone that knows that, every time I get hurt, they're like, we're going to send you to the glue factory. And I keep wanting someone to fulfill that promise because it sounds like a fun time, but no one ever has. So that's really disappointing. I'm surprised. Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I need to find the local glue factory. That's the thing. They
keep
those places pretty locked up.
Yeah. I'm surprised that you didn't go with the story of us meeting in person for the first time when you had to sit in like LA traffic for 4 hours. Then we got dinner and we did not realize it was Valentine's Day. Neither of us.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, when I was out in California for like 2 weeks and then I finally, I can't remember. I think you sent me a message because I made a comment about it. I was like, this is the longest I've gone without being pony in a long time. And made some joke about Long Beach. And you're like, hey, if you're out on the West Coast, we should hang out. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool, let's do that. And then I ended up being 4 hours north of LA by the time that we figured that out. And yeah, that was pretty funny.
Oh man! And then we walk into the restaurant and it's just couples and hearts, and we're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I think it was.
I think the hostess felt bad for us that we didn't know it was Valentine's Day because she definitely asked if we had a reservation. Should have went with it.
We should have. What do you mean my name's not on the list? Like, obviously it should be. Do you not know who I am? I mean, I could have really pulled the full LA out for that. I don't remember where that was. It was like out past Santa Barbara, and I can't remember what the town was called.
It was.
I just remember half.
It was very far north because it was, I don't remember exactly where, but I remember I drove the entire state of California during that trip. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was a hike. It was a fun hike. It was worth it, but it was a hike.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, right. So, let's get into your origin story a little bit because you do have, I mean, let's be honest, you have quite a following online across your various accounts on various apps and sites and things. But how did you get into all this? How did you start in pony play? Or talk about it? Tell me about it.
Yeah, so the pony stuff. So I started with other kinks originally. Always kind of been into bondage in some capacity. Definitely sensation stuff, which is why I like rubber and other things. And my introduction to pet play was actually puppy play, which is why the puppy to pony pipeline is a very real thing. it's a progression, I think, a lot of the time. So like I was into that for a while, and then I saw a GIF, I think, on either Reddit or Imgur, that was Sea Pony tied up like upside down, with his hooves in the air, and kind of swinging there and struggling, and that awoke something in me. I found out later on that Thorpe was the one that did that to him. So then I started the process of me like looking into more of what pony play was about, and it was kind of cool to see that it wasn't really about anything in particular. It's like, you just want to be a horse, go be a horse. And that progressed into me slowly picking up gear. I mean, I've been into pony play for well over 12 years now, I think. Slowly progressed into me picking up gear to the point that I started to be like, yes, this is my look. I want to be the shiny small horse, because I'm like all of 5'7" or 5'8", very short pony, and just kind of went with it from there. But I think most people rightfully blame Sea Pony for their introduction to pony play. Either Sea Pony or Nighty, it seems like most of the time, which is both fair and very good representations of the community.
Yeah, Nighty was mine. So yeah, I think that's a very fair judgment. It is both Sea Pony and Nighty's fault for everything now.
Yeah, Sea Pony's website's still the best.
It is, and I hear that they're updating it.
Yeah, they were coming back online a little while ago. I think they took a break for a bit. But yeah, I think I saw that too.
Yeah, and their partner is online a lot now. And I know that they're part of the back end of that website, so I know a lot of stuff is getting updated.
Excellent.
As they're going along, which is great to hear. Well, yeah, so you mentioned other kinks that pulled you in, and pup play. Pup play is a big one for a lot of people. I think pet play in general is kind of the. I feel like pup play is kind of like the gateway drug into other kind of like transformative kinks, in a way, because it seems to be the most approachable in a lot of cases, especially now that gear, for people who need gear or want gear, it's the easiest to get, in my opinion. So that it's now starting to be, it's very much like the gateway into all these other avenues. So, what made you want to go from pup play to pony play?
I just kind of,
was it just something that
it just kind of clicked. It's like, this is fun. Part of it, like, I still do pup play. I do it infrequently, and it's definitely different. I think a lot of people, pup play is very accessible. Pony play is accessible too. Like, I have a big long rant about how you don't need gear to be a pony. It's about the horse in your heart and all that stuff. But the kind of feeling about it, like, I liked pup play because I just get to be dumb dog, and it's like, this is fun. I just get to kind of shut my brain off and just do whatever my owner wants and try and get people's attention. And then once I kind of discovered pony play, it is a different mindset for me, because it's more like, horses. Every time that I talk to someone and they say that they don't like bio horses or real horses because they can't trust them, I'm like, yeah, that's completely fair. Never trust a horse. They're going to try and steal things from you, and you have to like earn their respect and that sort of thing. And I absolutely love that. I love just being like shiny horse that's either doing something stupid and getting up to mischief, or kind of being annoyed into doing the right thing. Because I do ride quite a bit too. Not recently, but like I spend a lot of time around bio horses, and they're just absolutely funny, stupid, gigantic animals that are dangerous and not to be trusted.
Sorry, my brain just went to you running around the Crucible, just absolute maniac. Oh God, yes, feisty tiny horse, just angry tiny horse all the time.
Yeah, there's a video clip of me somewhere when we did an impromptu pony meetup. I think it was at FWA a couple of years ago, and like, you can just see me in the corner of the frame bouncing up and down because I'm excited that there's more horses that just continually showing up. And I jumped so hard that I ended up breaking one of the boots that I was wearing. They weren't hoof boots, but they had like metal nails in the bottom. And you see me suddenly stop jumping, and that was because one of the nails came through the bottom of the boot and hit right into my heel. And no one took me to the glue factory. It was really disappointing.
Of all the places to have a glue factory, I feel like FWA should be one.
Yeah, definitely.
Because then you can be used to fix other people's costumes. Like, how is this not a thing? I'm going to go talk to the staff over there because I have an idea.
Yeah, that definitely should be investigated.
Absolutely agreed. So tell me, okay, so we have all the different, animal roleplay things. Tell me about the goo pony, because that's what's really making waves recently for you, I think. Is
The rubber TF stuff. So
yes.
I love the way that you frame this. I don't know if you know this, but like I've also kind of been in porn, a little bit, but it's always like the wet and messy fetish stuff, and a lot of that's texture. So explaining that whole thing, you can Google it if you want. There's a bunch of sites out there for it, but it's a lot of like people just getting messy with different substances, like either food or slimes or other things. It's like people that were exposed to Nickelodeon and it woke something in them, I think, a lot of the time. For me, I like the texture of the slimes and stuff, and it kind of goes really, really well right into the rubber transformation where you're being covered in this thick black goo and then you come out like a rubber horse. So I've kind of gone really heavily into that to the point that like our kink room has a pond liner on the floor just in case we spill stuff out. Yeah, it was better than cleaning hardwood a lot of the time.
Yeah, and having been to that house and just thinking of like the cracks in the floor and everything,
Yeah,
because of how old the house is,
yeah,
that's a really smart idea.
Yeah, I stole it from another kinkster. He has a play area upstairs in like his living room. The floor's padded, but it's like 1-inch gym mats, and then on top of that, he has a pond liner. He just moves the furniture out of the way whenever he wants to use it and puts it back. I'm like, this is brilliant. I'm stealing this idea. So we did the exact same thing. That was a COVID project. But yeah, the slime stuff. I don't know why I like it. Like most of the stuff, I don't really know why. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. Besides, I know that I like the texture. I really like the whole like transformation and absorption kind of look and feel of it. But I decided to make the Gooey Pony website because just like Pony Play, people thought that it's not accessible. And like doing slime stuff, there are a lot of precautions you have to be aware of. You have to have a plan to clean it up so that you don't ruin the drains or anything. But a lot of people that were doing wet and messy fetish stuff or wham fetish stuff, I'd say back in the day, like in the 90s, they treated their recipes like they were trade secrets, and they wouldn't tell anyone like how they made these things. Like if I wanted this really stringy slime that looked gloopy, so I could put it on someone and then like make them wear a rubber suit with it, which is fun. Strongly recommend. They wouldn't tell you how to actually do that. So worked with a friend of mine, Indigo. He's a very slimy dragon from out west to put together the website. So Indigo fixed all my coding because I suck at doing website design, and provide a lot of the recipes that are on there to kind of show people like this is how you can do this. And it makes me really happy to see other people send me messages like, hey, this worked, or hey, this didn't work. Please provide advice, or you can change the recipe to do this thing. The weirdest thing with the Gooey Pony website is I found out that a production company in the UK has used some of my recipes on there in a somewhat popular fantasy TV show that I really probably shouldn't say the name of. And I said, if you keep doing this, you really need to give me like a special thanks credit because that would be amazing.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. They need to give you some sort of credit, some sort of producer credit. Somewhere on IMDb, just Rye Pony, just randomly.
The prop designer that was doing that, they have done some other design work for me. They helped me get my skull monster put together. So I'm happy to call that even.
That's fair. Okay, yeah. Trade for a trade. Yeah. Always works. So, what does you have your goo pony, you have your pony play, you have your pup stuff every once in a while. What does play look like to you now? Like what's your average scene look like? How does that all work for you?
It depends on what I want to do, I guess, during that time. So, like for the pony stuff, I kind of have two modes. I have the I'm being forced to be a horse. Oh, that rhymed. That was awesome. And the other way is like no brains, only pony, where I'm more like pretending to be the horse. And those are kind of like the two bigger buckets of scenes that I go into for pony play. The forced to be a horse is usually a little bit more aggressive. It might have like impact play or striking. It's usually when whoever's topping my dom or handler, or if she loans me out to someone else will, force me, take the humanity away from me and force me to be the horse and do like workhorse stuff. And the other part where I'm more like pretending to be a horse, that's a bit less sexual, and it's more like no brains, only pony. I'm there for the pets. I'm there for the night's training. I want rewards of apples, that sort of thing. So it's usually one of those two. And then what I do for those scenes will depend on the amount of effort that I want to take. During the summer on the East Coast, in the Mid-Atlantic, a lot of the times it'll be Pony Boy, which means just like leather harness and the head and no rubber because I don't want to die. In the winter, or if we're doing something, like if we're going out and performing somewhere, I'll try and do everything because I want to give I want to be in my best show pony gear, right? So that means the best rubber suit that I have, my boots, my Fury harness, a tail perfectly braided, my braids just done in my head, all of that, and trying to look my best to get the ribbon. I don't have any ribbons. I need to get some ribbons.
I don't have any ribbons either. I want ribbons.
I'll get you a ribbon. I'm going to get you one that says almost bit no one today.
Almost didn't.
Yeah.
I do have a Rye Pony challenge coin though that sits on my desk. I want you to know.
Yes, I need to get more of those, and because my handles got all screwed up, I need to get new ones made. It's the at Rye Pony only works on like half the sites now because my Telegram got deleted because of a Google number, and then I don't have the Twitter anymore. So like, yeah, I should have just put like a link tree or something on it instead.
Not a bad idea, honestly. Thinking about, I've done that recently too, and it's because like when I switched over from, I used to be Rubber Pony Link because all my shit is Legend of Zelda based because I'm a giant nerd. But then when I switched over to Kyian as my pony name, surprise, surprise, Rubber Pony Kyian is too long for Twitter as a handle. And so that one is shorter and like weirder than like Blue Sky, which is fine, and Instagram, which is fine. And I mean, fuck Twitter. I try not to use it these days, but it just seems like everyone and their mother is still on it because no one wants to make the jump. But that's a different story. That's a different episode. So when you go out when you do shows, like I know I've seen pictures of you at FWA, where you teach, or you guys do a workshop panel gathering thing for pony play for furries, right? Yeah.
So A&E and FWA are the two big cons that we go to a lot of times. So A&E is Anthro New England, and FWA Furry Week in Atlanta. Both of them are very acknowledging, and they're leaning heavily into the kink side and the education parts of it. And like I love that. I'm hugely about education. I don't know, I have a PDF that I wrote and plagiarized you for a good part of it. I gave you credit though. That's not quite plagiarism. That goes through like the basics of pony play in kind of a condensed format. But both of those conventions are really good for it because they have programming tracks set up for not just pony, but they also do pup. They have like rope demos. FWA went really hard into rubber last year too with a vac cube during their Moonlight, which was really, really awesome. So both of those are great. I think I forgot your question. I'm sorry.
No, you started moving into the direction I wanted to talk about with those two conventions, and the idea that a lot of these conventions are now really starting to get more. They're acknowledging this part of their community because they're. I mean, pony play is very much comes out of the leather community, the leather kink community, but there's so much crossover because of the animalistic role play part of it. There's so much crossover with furries now that a lot of these conventions that do have like an after dark track are talking about it and are bringing these things up. Where there are a lot of furry conventions that are trying to stay family friendly, which is honorable and worth doing, as long as that's what they are purposely doing, right? And as someone myself who has always been like a furry lurker, but has only really just gotten more involved in that community within the last year, I find it. I'm really interested in like hearing your take on all of that, especially as someone who is now an educator in these kind of spaces.
Yeah, so I understand the need for both, and so when I started to go to conventions, I was really uncomfortable doing pony unless it was like truly after dark. It was to the point that I was emailing staff and probably annoying them, asking them if it was okay. I remember I did that at A&E the first time that I went there because I had no idea what the con was like. I didn't see any other ponies out. I didn't know if it was okay, after 10 or whatever to go out like that. And Mass has some very weird draconian laws relating to activities in public. So, I was very, very nervous about that. What's kind of happened is that cons I think are starting to lean into it a little bit more because if the activity is behind closed doors, and this isn't specifically to pony play, like I could go on about this for a very long time. But if the activity is behind closed doors, people don't know what right in air quotes looks like. They can get into some very dangerous and risky activities where consent is not honored, where they're doing very dangerous things. They are. We were at a party a long time ago where a scene went incredibly, horribly wrong. And we were shocked that no one there had any discussion of consent ahead of time. People were mixing controlled substances with play. People were not having any of the normal negotiation going into play. You'd had people that were going like, help me find my limit. Like when you're drunk, that's a really bad idea to do that. Anyone that says that, it's kind of a red flag anyways, unless you like really know that person and you've talked about it previously. But cons that are allowing these sort of not play in public, but like this is what consent looks like, and they have a panel on that, and this is what pony play looks like, and this is what pet play looks like, and trying to make those more accessible in an environment where the lights are turned on, you don't have music blaring that you have to scream at each other over, and you can ask questions like that. I think that's really, really important because the activities aren't going to stop, right? If you try and just ban the activities, it means that they're just going to happen again behind closed doors, and people are going to get hurt and do the wrong thing by having these discussions in the open. I think that the cons are putting themselves in a much better place long term. Definitely, I'm a huge fan of the 18 plus, and I think some cons do a 21 plus track where they make sure that you have those age limits in place. They're checking IDs and everything. I think that's really important to do that for all of them. And to keep it relegated to after dark, however that's going to be defined. Because I know in Boston in the winter, when A&E is, the sun sets at like 3 p.m, which is a little bit early to be out in latex. No judgment on anyone that's comfortable doing that, but I generally don't do it until like after 6 or 8 or whatever. But yeah, the cons that do that I think are a little bit better off, and they definitely. I've seen it at a lot of conventions where they definitely kind of draw the line. They say, please don't wear rubber or whatever. I don't actually see it with rubber because rubber is usually fully covering, but they do say like exposed skin or other things. I don't know. It's their code of conduct is usually up to the person that's being asked to enforce it. But most cons are pretty good about like, hey, this is the time when you shouldn't be doing that. This is the time that you should be doing that. Please be respectful of it. And then the cons, like I said, that definitely embrace the After Dark track. I think that they're doing a pretty good job of it, or a really good job of it in the case of FWA and A&E.
Yeah, yeah. I've only been to one furry convention at this point, and it was MCFC up in Detroit. And like, I'm not someone who has a fursuit. I used my pony gear, but like, it very much feels like there's kind of a difference when you pull away the latex and you're using like a softer spandex based suit, and you're not in hoof boots because it's super dangerous in public for long periods of time, and in places where if you like, it's dangerous outside of a controlled situation, which I learned from you, as we've talked about before. But so like, flat-footed boots and things, and like more fluffy as a horse, and like I had no issues with that at that convention, which was great. Now, that being said, I was also hanging out that weekend with a spandex-based fursuiter who all of his fursuits are spandex-based. But, there are precautions you take to kind of, keep things covered, keep things out of the way, so that they aren't, you aren't clocked for anything like that. And there are techniques and things like just put on a damn pair of shorts or something, like if you need to. Also in that situation, I mean, that's an 18-plus convention, I think, if I remember correctly. But, like, yeah, you'd see latex come out later at night for, like, the later dances and things every once in a while. I also feel like, especially in the furry community, latex has really, really blown up recently and has become a much more popular piece that a lot of fursuiters are getting. So it'll be interesting to see how things kind of move and change in the future, as that has now become a more popular medium that things are being built out of.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And like, I don't really have an issue with people wanting to wear latex during the day. It's just like, it's kind of a contextual thing. I think A&E's code of conduct was the one that I really liked the way it was written, because it was incredibly forgiving, as long as you weren't being like very, very sexually explicit during main daylight hours sort of stuff. So it's fine. Like, I guess a really good example, like, if someone's wearing a latex suit, they're arguably wearing, just as much coverage as a fursuit. And this could be a philosophy topic here, is like, what's the actual problem that's wrong? Is it that latex, and once a skin tight suit is historically something that's kink related, and you think that's kink related, even though it might not be kink related for that person. Like, I know a lot of people who like latex because they like the feel, but they're also ace and they don't really get anything from it. I know a lot of people that are really into fursuits and they get a lot of stuff from it. So like, where's that line going? I think it was at MFF a few years ago. We were outside the main con hotel, and Maul wanted to go swimming in the hotel that we were staying at. She brought a wetsuit because it's winter and it's comfortable for her and it's easy to clean. So she walked through the hotel with the wetsuit on to go swimming, and someone at the bar complained about that. And she's just like, why? I'm wearing more than you are, and just kept on walking. And yeah, it's kind of hard to find fault with that, right? Because you are completely covered. I love that latex is becoming more I don't want to say like acceptable, but like more people are getting into it and they're finding joy in it, because it is a lot of fun. I do enjoy that kind of equilibrium when you sweat just the right amount to work with the silicone, and it feels like a second skin on you. 2 days ago, like the entire day, I knew that I was going to be programming all day, so I decided at like 6 a.m. I was going to put on latex and wear it all day, and it's just kind of comfortable like that.
I unfortunately don't get to work from home.
Sorry.
Both of my jobs require me to be in the office for a decent chunk of it, and it's just not fair. But that being said, being the boss at one of those jobs is kind of fun, because after dark, I get to use the facility as I need to, and so like, I took the pictures for that for this podcast in full gear, in the studio I run, literally in the isolation booth that I'm currently sitting in full gear, like 3 days ago. So it's just like, it's weird what you can get away with when, one, you don't care, and B, you run the place. So like, who's going to stop you?
Yeah.
You know? But yes, absolutely the feeling of actually like that right amount of sweat, where it's not like you're just drenched and you're soaking through your boots, but like just the right amount where it's mixing with the silicone. And it's just like, ooh, things are kind of a little sloshy, a little loose, but at the same time, it's not like sticking to you, you know?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think also there's enough people that have like during COVID, a lot of people started to spend a lot of time online and started to get into like latex and pony play and other stuff. I know that Fury's wait time went from a couple of weeks to now years during COVID because people were getting into it. But it also means like you can find there's a really good secondhand market for suits. I'm trying to remember the website that I go to a lot. I know that's UK based, but they have sellers all over the US as
Was
well.
it a Second Skin?
Yeah, Second Skin. Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
watch set on there for like once you find a maker that the suits kind of fit you for, you can kind of like I think they have settings that you can take a look for like custom size stuff too. But yeah, I buy used suits a lot because I also wear latex so much that I am lucky if I get about 10 wears out of a suit before it starts to pinhole. And then every single convention I've gone to, I've had to pack 2 to 3 different suits. Because if I'm performing, I will rip one. It happens. It's a combination of how much I'm moving because I run and I sprint in full gear, with where the harness is sitting and where it's having friction on everything. Like I don't think I've had a suit, or my collection of suits survive an entire convention without needing patching. I've had to patch them in the hotel room at night. Never fly with heptane. Do not fly with heptane. It will get taken from you. But it's
Of course it will.
Yeah, it is literally a highly flammable solvent. Do not fly with that. And when you're patching, be incredibly smart about it. Don't have anyone in your room that thinks it's the correct time to vape when you're trying to use chemicals in your hotel room.
Please tell me there's not a story behind that.
No, there isn't. I did a goo demo at a convention, and I ended up blowing out my suit like right away in the beginning of it. So I'm like, got to go fix this now. I went to go fix it, and I didn't have enough heptane or evaporate or something like that. So someone else came by and did. And I needed such a huge amount to clean all the goo off of it and all the silicone off the suit. I think the suit was chlorinated too, which was another level of repair challenge. And then scrub the glue off and then get it glued back together. I was worried about the fumes in the hotel room.
Yeah, because those windows usually don't open.
They do not.
Yeah, that's fun. I don't know. I've always found, just quick on repair. Like I've said, you are the king of adhesives, so you know more than I do. But like people who, I have 2 or 3 suits that have lasted me years because I'm not in them nearly as much. I think I've worn latex more in the last week than I have in the last 3 months, to be perfectly honest. But like I've found that just like for the pedestrian who just needs to get something quick that'll work really well, dude, I just pop over to Target and get rubber cement. Like Elmer's rubber cement works beautifully for a patch.
Yeah, it does. That's what I still use for patching most of the time. I just use heptane because that's the carrier carrier vehicle is the right term, I think, for the glue. That's the great smell that rubber cement has. That's the heptane. So I use that to water it down to thin it out so that's easier to get to apply on stuff. Oh,
that's a smart idea.
Yeah.
That's a really smart idea. I'm stealing that idea. Oh man. Okay. So much happening. Yeah. Back to second. No, it's fine. It's fine. That's great. That's why we're here. Back to Second Skin. There is going to be eventually a huge market for secondhand pony gear. You and I have talked about this a number of times because of that influx of people who find the gear really hot, but haven't really gotten into the community aspect of things and the play aspect of things. So at some point they're gonna offload this really expensive gear so they can go buy whatever the next hot thing is. I'll just say if you are a smaller person, you're gonna luck out really well with that market. For people my size, 6'3", 280 pounds, big horse. not as lucky finding used stuff around here.
I think it really depends on who's trying to sell stuff because everyone like there's the whole gamut, right? There's the super tiny like Shetland pony type people, up to the beautiful strong draft horses like you, that are just like the gear is there for kind of everyone. Finding used gear is really difficult for pony because it is kind of niche, and you don't just want to like toss it on eBay. Very rarely will you find anything on there, but you can find it. Usually, I think Telegram groups or like posts on Blue Sky is kind of where you see a lot of the stuff sold now because it is niche, and you want it to go to someone that's in the community and not someone that's going to like ruin it. Because the pony identity stuff, it really becomes part of you. Like I don't think I'm ever going to sell any of my Rye heads. And I have 3 of those, which is kind of a funny story on how I got 3. I'll go through that really quick, but if I ever get out a pony or whatever, ideally I want to donate one of those to the Leather Archives in Chicago. Great museum if you're ever in Chicago. I strongly recommend going there. They do have really cute pony play mugs too that you can buy in their gift shop, but it is an awesome museum.
How am I just finding out about the mugs? Hold on.
I don't have it up here. I have to be careful when I'm like on calls with work that I don't have the pony play mug that I'm drinking out of as my camera's on.
That's fair. I will find it.
Yeah, but it's a very like old, I'd say like 60s style very rough cartoon drawing like you'd see in Hustler or something of a girl riding a dude in pony gear, and I absolutely love that mug. It's like
hell yeah,
it's great. But yeah, like finding gear used is difficult. It's not impossible, but it is difficult because a lot of it's made for you and someone's identity. And a lot of people, even if they get into pony play and then get out of it, they don't want to sell their gear because it's part of their identity, right? They don't want to, unless they're completely done with it for a bad experience or they find out that's really not for them, which is how I got one of my Rye heads. They just kind of hang on to it.
Yeah. That does sound right. And I mean, for me, especially like, I know when I went and got my hood made, I wanted my mane to be a different color and something special and specific for me. And when I had ordered it, I hadn't seen that gray on anybody. Now that's changed, and I'm not gonna lie, a little miffed about it, just a little bit. Like I understand I can't copyright anything, but like, as ponies, I feel like there's a great deal of uniqueness and creativity in the way that we present ourselves, and so we really put a lot of thought into what we're looking for. And like you said, things get customized for us when we have things made or when we make them ourselves.
Yeah, I agree. I will disagree with one thing. A lot of thought into it. So my braids, right? Like people think my braids are signature, and I encourage other people to braid manes and stuff. It works really well to keep the hair out of your eyes, and it looks really cool. So, not biased at all. But that came about because I didn't originally I didn't want any of my stuff braided, and Maul, my dom, kept on saying, I want to braid your mane. I want to braid your mane. So we did as part of a scene. She gagged me, tied me up, and spent like 2 hours. I think it was actually longer than 2 hours as she was watching a movie, braiding my mane. And I'm just kind of forced to sit there. And then after we got done, she told me, go look in the mirror. And I did. And I'm like, okay, this is my identity now. And now it's to the point that like if my braids are coming undone, I start to get anxious about it. It's like, I need to have this fixed right now. But I encourage others to also braid because, like I said, it looks cool. But also that means that if I get up to mischief and you look like me, you might get blamed for the problems I'm causing, which is also great and big horse energy.
Oh, that's brilliant. And I love stories like that where it's just like something happens even against your will, and then you see it and it's just like, oh, no, wait, and it just opens something. It's just, oh, wait, no, this is right. Oh, man, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to maintain, too, because otherwise the hair is always in the eyes.
Yes, and that's why I have a single braid in the front to try and help mitigate that a little bit. I might have to do a couple more just because it is such a pain. The hair is always the mane is always in the eyes. I at one point had a single braid down the middle, down the back. But the way that the Bob Bassett hoods are made with the mohawk kind of leather piece that the mane is built into, it's really hard to do a single braid cleanly down the front or down the back. I might have to revisit that at some point. But okay, so I'm asking everybody these two questions just because, everybody gets asked this. So how would you say that your play has changed over time? And has any of it influenced your everyday life?
Like two ways, I think. I've gotten a lot less serious about it. Originally, so I used to have a lot of anxiety issues. I still have some, but it was really bad to the point that I'd have panic attacks if I was trying to go to an event. And I'd never wanted anyone to see Pony in public. And now I'm just I just don't give a fuck. I'll go out and pony. I try and make sure that time and place though, right? I'm not going to be doing it all the time, but I've gone to a local Pride charity gala that started at 4 p.m. in full pony gear, and I'm like, well, you said it was. They said it was fancy dress, so I decided to dress in the fanciest stuff I had, and that was a lot of fun. The drag queens were making fun of us because we were outdressing them, and they didn't like it. But big thing is that I've stopped kind of caring as much as about what other people think about it, which means that also a good chunk of my coworkers from my last job figured out the pony play stuff, and one of them found my Twitter account. I don't know how, but it was like this mutually assured destruction that I would make jokes like, I'm gonna go camping for the weekend, and then he would say something like, well, as long as you're not camping where all those people do pony stuff. And then I'd be like, what do you mean pony stuff? And I'd try and get him to take the bait. He never would, which was disappointing. One of them did call me Rye really loudly. This is actually the same coworker that in my Jira tickets, he would put in, hey Pony, I fixed your login issue or whatever. So he knew, I just didn't care. It's fine. And then the other part is I don't take any of this as seriously as I did. There used to be, I want to say almost a certain purity to the pony play where I had to have the scene perfectly right. And that added so much stress that it didn't become fun. Now it's to the point where I'll just be I want to go beat a dumb horse, and I'll just go grab a bit or something and ask Maul if she can just leave me around for a little bit and something way simpler. Mm-hmm. That's what works for me. That's not pony play is whatever you want to make of it. You don't have to do anything that anyone else does, but that's kind of the two big impacts relating to the play. And then the impact on my day-to-day life is this: I don't care. Almost all my stuff is labeled Rye now. So if I go into the office, and someone's trying to airdrop something, and they're like, who's Rye, and why do I see this iPhone that says Rye on it? It's oh yeah, that's mine. I think my backpack actually has a gear tag on it that says Rye right now as well. But yeah, it's kind of almost more of my identity than my normal self is, I guess.
Actually speechless for a moment, but not in a bad way. Having interacted with you in normal situations and also in non-normal situations, I definitely see that, and definitely see that influence that it's had on you. And kind of feel the same way. My license plate is pony themed, for goodness sake.
I love your license plate, and I love how people will see you driving down the highway and then send me a message saying that's your car, and then I'll be like, I don't have a car, I have a motorcycle. Which you also have.
Which I also have.
But, yeah, I get accused of driving your car with your license plate quite frequently.
Which is hilarious to me. And I am not apologizing for anything.
That's fine.
Oh, man. So I started this podcast because part of me, I'm a little angry about the fact that one of the only well-known kink podcasts, not that I think that this will ever become well-known, but one of the only really well-known podcasts for kink and things that is out there is hosted by two folks who live this lifestyle and work in this industry, and this is all that they do. And I'm just kind of asking everybody like what's daily life for you? Like how much of this, how like a percentage, how much is kink like your life?
Uh, it's pretty big for me, but it's not my job. I mean, I think that makes sense,
Yeah.
right? So like it's part of my identity. The pony stuff is part of my identity. Just like a lot of people, their personas are part of their core identity. It is one of the things that brings them the most happiness. My mood has like since I started doing pony play. Here's a tagline for you, right? BDSM is cheaper than therapy, but pony play isn't. Because like seriously, it has helped me so much in just being that kind of escape. So like I rely on it for that. It's a big part of my life, but it's not my job. My normal, I can fire it off when I need, or firewall it off when I need to. But my normal job, in stereotypical fashion, is like my title is computer scientist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I work with computers all the time, which I kind of don't enjoy as much as I probably should, but it allows me to do the other stuff. So day-to-day life is just like, my normal day is I wake up ridiculously early and run really far, and then make breakfast, start work, and then usually try and wrap up early afternoon so I can take care of our animals and just kind of relax for the rest of the day. I don't like pony every single day. I try and do something about once a week or so if I can, if the schedule works out okay. But, it's fairly normal, I think. Yeah, it's not, pony is not job, even though I think it would be kind of cool if my job was pony.
I could probably stand it for like 2 weeks and then probably get bored and want something more.
So I know someone, and I actually do want to try this at some point, but I need to schedule it out. I know someone that wanted to do a pony weekend where they had to be in full gear all weekend as horse. They said it lost its novelty after 6 hours, and that was surprising to them. Like they got as part of a getaway thing, so they were actually at like a stable. I think there were like horses on the other side of the stable, so they were like in the barn and everything. It was really cool. They said it was really cool initially, but then like as they were left there, they realized it was kind of boring just standing around after a few hours. And then the flies started to bother them because there was flies everywhere since there was actual animals around. And like it just stopped being fun. And they're like, oh, I think I'm done with this now. That's the difference between like fantasy and reality stuff. But they were a little bit surprised about that too, because they were able to do like normal pony activities for much longer than that. Once everything kind of came together, it wasn't as fun as they wanted. I still want to try it because like, it's like when someone says this is hot, don't touch it. You have to touch it to make sure that they're right? So I'm going to do it anyways. Yeah. Why wouldn't I? That's weird.
No, I totally want to do something like that at some point. But like afterwards, dear God, there has to be a shower somewhere.
I don't know if you've done overnight in latex or slept in latex overnight. Okay, so I've done that a few times. With most recent was with my partner Aster, and we spent just over 24 hours in latex together. So like we did Boston Pride, and then we came back to his house and got dinner and slept in latex, and it was a lot of fun. But come morning, like we were both like we need to shower now because it stopped being as much fun as it should have been, and it started to become like, okay, now I'm actually starting to feel a little bit itchy and I need to get out of this and shower and go do something else. So everything is fun. Being locked in latex for multiple days probably wouldn't be that much fun after a certain point.
Yeah, I think actually what's really interesting, like a lot of the stories I used to read back in the day, they'd actually like in those longer stories they would actually write in like about how they would like force that person into the shower, rinse out the suit, like clean them off before they put them back into it, type of thing.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, see, that's responsible. That's realistic. Yep. I've never slept in latex only because I'm so worried that like I will contortion my body some way while I'm sleeping that I'll rip it.
Yeah, that's fair. When I did it, it was definitely it was a thicker suit, and it was one of the ones that was already had like 7 patches in it because I was anticipating getting a hole during Pride. So I wasn't that worried about that. But the weirdest thing was that, it didn't happen the previous time, but as I was wearing it then, like, I think I was just dehydrated because I didn't like I wasn't sweating anywhere near as much as I thought I was going to wearing latex. And in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh, I need water. So I woke up, drank probably about a liter of water, and then went back to bed, and then immediately started sweating to the point like I think I ruined his mattress protector because there was so much sweat coming out of the suit. Yeah, it was fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
But the sort of I don't know what you would call that. I know the type of stories that you're talking about because I read those quite a bit too for research.
Of course.
But things like, that stuff's a lot of fun where you're trying to do that. I mean, I've done scenes with people where I've topped them and I've forced them to become a rubber horse in the way where there's massive amounts of goo involved. Like pull them into a pool of goo with a rubber suit that's already in and partially submerged. In this, I'm already dressed as a horse and, like have the head on and everything. And usually if I'm topping, I'm completely mute. I don't like talking as I'm topping. But I force them down and then start getting them completely slimy and then force them into the suit. And the entire time I'm being a little bit rough as I'm like getting them into the rubber, which the goo makes that so much easier when trying to get someone else who's, oh no, please don't, resisting into rubber, and then getting the hooves and everything on them and then putting the mask on them. That's a lot of fun doing the consensual, non-consensual sort of stuff with rubber transformation. But then definitely there becomes a point, a couple hours, like, okay, this isn't fun anymore. Let's go get clean and let's go get food.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's always going to be that wall that you hit at some point. And you have to respect it a lot of times, I think.
Yep. Yeah, that's you could do a whole episode on like consenting communities and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point. You set the expectations for the scene and make sure that everyone kind of understands it. And, consent can only be given with a clear head, but it can be revoked at any point, sort of thing.
Absolutely. Okay, we're getting close to the end. This episode has turned out to be way longer than I thought it was going to be, and I'm not mad about it. I think I'm rethinking formatting for all these episodes.
Sorry.
No, don't be. I was going to try and make all these episodes like 20 or 30 minutes, and we're pushing an hour, and I'm not mad about it. So, okay, so fun stuff real quick. I've got a list of 8 words, and I just want you to do some like rapid fire responses to these. And when I sent you the script, you got 4 of them ahead of time. So we'll see what happens with these other ones. Okay, first one, gear.
Wait, what? So is this a word association?
Yes.
Oh, the answer is almost going to be pony for all of them.
Great.
The answer to gear is pony. That is the correct answer.
Okay. Let's see how many of these turn out to be pony. Rubber.
Also pony.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm not going to ask latex because it's the same
freaking
thing.
Latex is going to be shiny.
Latex is different?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So Aster, because he understands so much, I made a comment about latex and rubber being the same thing, and then he went on to explain to me for about 15 minutes about how latex is the sap from a tree and rubber is through a process of refining it. I might be getting that backwards, but they are different.
Oh, I'm going to have to put that in another episode later.
Yeah.
We have to talk about that.
You should, ask Aster about it. He did
I totally will.
He did a Jeopardy game at a convention that was rubber themed and it was really good.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah, he had a rubber panel, and he didn't want it to be like, I'm going to talk about rubber for an hour. He wanted it to be audience involvement, so he forced the room into like 3 different groups, and then he had Jeopardy game with rubber topics on there, and it was really pretty good.
That sounds amazing. Okay, I'm gonna have to get in touch with him.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, we're still going. Here we go.
Sorry.
Corset.
Can't breathe.
As the resident corset pony. Horsehead.
Can't see.
Rope.
Fun.
Okay. Goop.
Also fun.
And then the one that's like out there, chickens.
There's too many of them. There's a lot of chickens in our yard. For anyone,
tiny dinosaurs.
Yeah, tiny dinosaurs. For anyone that doesn't know, Maul is known in our town as the girl that steals chickens. which is a slightly too long story. And she's also known as the local cryptid. So I'm just going to kind of let that be. But we now currently, at present, have 21 chickens in our half-acre lot. We will be giving many of them away as they grow up. But yeah, there's 21 of them in the yard right now.
Don't look at me. I have no outdoor space and 2 cats. It will be eaten. The poor tiny dinosaur.
The new baby pullets, because that's about the size that they are now, they're starting to learn how to hunt in packs. So I've seen 6 of them go off after a single squirrel, and I think someday they will catch that squirrel. They are dinosaurs.
Having seen, I was over there, like a month ago?
Yeah.
Maybe? And having seen those little guys, I believe it.
Yeah, they've gotten a little bit bigger.
Okay, well, we're going to end it here. Thank you, Rye, so much for coming on to this podcast. This has been an absolute delight. Before we go, where can people find you online? Or in person, if that's your thing? I don't know.
Yeah, usually, so I'm cool with meeting up with people in person. It's just, I do the normal sanity check thing of like, we have to vibe first online, and timing is so difficult, which is why I appreciate you doing this remote, even though I think we're like only 20 miles from each other right now. But yeah, so online, Rye Pony, Rye as in like the whiskey, or bread, I guess, followed by Pony. That's pretty much me on all platforms. On Telegram, it's Rye Pone, Pon, because my account got banned. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Gooey Pony is the website. So gooey as in gooey and pony as in pony.com. I think that's search optimized too, so you should be able to find it if you search that. And FetLife is also Rye Pony. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else. I don't know. I'm around. I'm not
really need to make a link tree.
I have one. I just don't use it. Yeah. Okay. But Blue Sky is probably the best. Either Blue Sky or Telegram. Those are the 2 that I actually have notifications turned on for.
Okay. Well, awesome. Thanks for listening to Straight from the Horse's Mouth. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe. If we actually post this somewhere where you can subscribe to things, if they allow us. Haven't gotten that far yet. And tune in next week for more.
Thank you.